At FanDuel Casino, we know the only thing better than a win is a free win. That's why we made Reward Machine, the daily free-to-play game that gives you a chance to win up to $2,000 in casino bonus. We've given away over $100 million in free bonuses, and we're just getting started. Every day at 6 p.m., you get 3 chances to spin the Reward Machine reels. There are 3 ways to win. 1. Match any 3 symbols for an instant win. 2. Collect symbols each day for a chance to win weekly prizes. Or 3. Win up to $2,000 if you collect 3 trophies. FanDuel has given away over $100 million to hundreds of thousands of people through Reward Machine. So what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Casino app by going to FanDuel.com/marker and start playing Reward Machine today. That's FanDuel.com/marker. No purchase necessary. 21 and older and present in Michigan. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable casino-only site credit that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
Boldly searching for your next used vehicle? With CarMax, you don't have to settle on anything when it comes to your ride. Instead, steer clear of the ordinary and buy the car that's right for you. Because CarMax makes it easy to stop settling and find a car you'll love today. Start shopping now at CarMax.com. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
Skip this message by jumping to the 1-minute mark. Hello there, VIPs. Steve here. In case you didn't know, I do a podcast with our former intern, Kyle. You remember Kyle? Wiener 2, I believe, was his nickname back on the radio show. We do a podcast called, well, very creatively, the Steve and Kyle Podcast. Every Tuesday at 7 a.m., we release a new episode. And while the radio show's on vacation over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be throwing a couple of episodes of the Steve and Kyle podcast in as your daily download, since we're not going to be back until January 8th. You can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. Or if you want to subscribe, that would be even better. Just go into iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher or TuneIn or any of those podcasting apps. Just type in the Steve and Kyle podcast and hit subscribe. Hopefully you enjoy it, and you'll subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. So enjoy this episode that was recorded at some point in the last couple of months. Sorry, they're not really in any kind of order.
How quickly do you think she'd turn on? No, take his kidneys. He's going to die anyway.
Oh, very quickly.
He had a heart attack a year ago.
This guy barfed on his own shoes last weekend. He's of no use to me.
I can find better anywhere. You got a Costco membership. Maybe you guys go eat some samples. What did your friends call it? Hillbilly dinner?
No, sample lunch.
Sample lunch. You maybe go do
hillbilly dinner.
This midnight booze cruise has a net and a wet t-shirt contest, and you dressed up like a pirate jumping between boat and boat.
Well, that's how the brochure described it.
I need to get a trip down here for this alone.
Yeah. Come experience the open seas with a realtor on vacation.
A gimmick realtor. Don't mind his drunk bride. She's just the one dumping bottles of water on herself in the lobby.
Oh, that's right.
In the lobby. That's what they call the boat. It's not the galley. It's the lobby.
Well, the way you described this,
the lobby
this
of the boat.
Boat was like a luxury cruise liner, right?
It was a catamaran.
Okay, so a double boat is what we described.
Yeah, you had a lot of trouble understanding what a catamaran was.
Yeah, still don't quite know.
You thought it was 2 separate boats.
Yeah,
with like connected by a fishing net.
Yeah, like one net in between that you would climb.
I guess you're not completely wrong, but you're completely wrong.
Okay, so it wasn't a net then; it was like a plank.
No,
like across the 2 boats.
No. A catamaran is it's like a boat on one side, a boat on the other side. It's connected by
what you just described
by a bridge
is like 2 boats.
Well, no,
with some sort of pirate structure.
All right, time out. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, Monday, January 1st, 2018.
Hey, Happy New Year,
year
Steve.
of our Lord. Happy New Year to you as well. I already said that to you roughly 12 hours ago when you were you and your beautiful bride Katie were here for Little New Year's get-together.
Had a big bash.
Oh, massive bash.
Yeah.
The cops showed up.
Yeah. Told us to turn down the tunes.
Well, the cops showed up to see if we were still alive because it was so quiet.
Because the neighbors reported a weird odor. They thought we might be dead.
Yeah, there's only so much noise that 4 people in their 30s is Katie.
No,
oh, no,
Katie,
she's close, though,
yeah.
right? Looking down the barrel. I apologize. I didn't mean to reveal your wife's.
Boy.
I know that's a faux pas.
You can answer to her for that.
Yeah. So your beautiful bride, Katie, celebrating her 21st birthday coming up. Finally be able to drink alcohol.
Finally getting out there and having a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys came over. We had a little shindig. We played some games.
Yeah, big soiree.
What was the one?
Settlers of Catan,
Settlers
Steve.
of Catan. I'd never played that before.
Yeah, I think a lot of listeners will be familiar with it unless unless people just avoid board games, but it is well known.
Is there an app for that?
There's got to be.
Boy, because I enjoyed it.
Oh, right, it's fun.
And normally I'm not into after you guys left last night, we were just straightening up, cleaning up, doing some dishes, and we were talking about that game, and Annette's like, oh man, I really like that game. And I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but normally I don't enjoy games like that, because like those strategy games,
right?
Because it takes all of my focus to figure out what my strategy is and what my purpose in this game is. So 100% brain power is focused on the cards that I have, where my pieces are on the board, what I need to do to win the game. It's
so hard to worry about 3 other people.
And then I look around. It was seriously 3/4 of the way through that game. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, well, I can tell what they need based on what's going on.
Right.
And I thought about it for a second or so. I'm looking over at Annette's pieces where they are on the board, and I'm like, okay, well, she needs that. And then I'm like, well, that just flushed my memory because I don't know what I need anymore now, so I had to go back and focus on mine again. Like, nope, not worrying about anyone else.
Exactly.
Worrying about this guy right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces. I hesitate to call it chess because chess is a gentleman's game, obviously, but it's something where, it's not Monopoly, where you're just rolling and buying and hoping you outlast everybody else with more property. So, no, it was fun. It was probably the longest recorded game in history.
We played that because we started that at, it was...
must have been 11:15.
It was 11:15 because I remember you saying, oh, it's a 30 to 40 minute game. And looking at my watch and thinking, oh, cool, it's like 11:10 right now.
Yeah.
We'll be done.
Sure.
Happy New Year. And then everyone have a toast. Well, we played up until 11:57 when I poured the bubbly.
Yep.
And we gathered around the TV and we watched Ryan Seacrest ring in the New Year.
Yeah, well, of the 2 options that we looked at, it seemed like Ryan Seacrest was the superior.
Yeah.
Instead of watching like Steve Harvey give his Family Feud sideways glances to anybody who makes a weird comment on the stage type of thing.
What you talking about?
Yeah. So, Seacrest brought us in.
Seacrest brought us in. We celebrated. We gathered around the TV for about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then everyone went back over to the table, and the game continued.
For way too long.
For another hour and a half.
Oh, at least. I mean,
because you guys left around
2:30, 2:15, something like that. And
because I remember laying down in bed, and it was about 2:30.
Okay.
Because we were up for probably 15 minutes after you left.
Yeah.
Cleaning stuff up.
Sure.
Getting stuff put away, because there's nothing I hate more than coming downstairs the next morning and just seeing like, oh, cool, the salsa is still stuck to the little bowl, or the meatballs, which, man, those things were good.
Yep.
And cannot take any credit for them because we simply went to Gordon Food Services, bought the bag of frozen pre-cooked mini meatballs, bought the can of, what was it, like sweet and sour sauce or whatever, dumped it in the crock pot, hit on for 2 hours.
And that was it.
Man, they were good.
Nice and easy.
But yeah, I hate the next morning.
The worst feeling.
I hate cleaning up.
Yep.
I don't like that feeling of waking up the next morning and like, oh God.
Now you lived away at college, right? You lived at Monmouth. Were you? So you had a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys obviously having your big parties.
Yeah.
Was your dorm room that way, where it's like, hey, there's beer cans and plates and food everywhere, or were you like I don't care if I'm a little bit drunk or whatever. I'm cleaning this up before I go to bed.
No, because we couldn't have. I'm trying to remember. I think it was freshman and sophomore year. You couldn't have alcohol
At all
in the dorms at all.
Okay.
So we never really had to worry about it because anytime we were drinking or going to a party, it was off campus. Junior year, I was only in the dorms for half of the year because the first semester I did study abroad. So, man, I don't remember. And then senior year I lived off campus.
Okay.
So it was, but senior year it was. Oh, it's completely different than how I am now. Because now how I am now, it's like, oh, let me get a head start on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Clean everything up tonight, and I'll wake up tomorrow, and everything will be great.
Yep.
But yeah, back then it was like,
Forget
man,
it.
It sat where it fell. So like beer can falls on the floor, get it in the morning.
Oh,
no big deal.
I couldn't.
And
do
I lived with I think 7 guys. There was 7 guys in a house that originally was probably 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Oh boy!
But the guy that owned the place, this guy Ron, who we rented from, he subdivided that house so much. Like there was
Just added rooms.
There was a porch off the back of the house that was 100% a porch. Like it had screens and everything. But that was the hallway to get to this like hidden back bedroom.
Oh my gosh!
So the poor guy and this other guy, Steve, who had that bedroom, it was like, I mean, in the middle of the winter, he had to wear like a
coat.
He had to go to bed wearing winter clothes.
What an awful living situation.
Yeah. I somehow got one of the bedrooms that was originally a bedroom and hadn't yet been divided. So I had this nice like 12 by 12 room with a king size bed.
Oh my gosh.
But poor Big Steve, as we called him, Big Steve had a room that was barely the size of a walk-in closet. It was at the most, it was 50 degrees in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everybody's hating you.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who got the big room.
Me, Frank, who you know, Frank from the bachelor party. And
barely ever forgive Frank right now.
for not showing up to the
for
wedding.
not showing up to the wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of, I think, only 2 or 3 no-shows.
Oh, you got the other 2 on the blacklist?
No, well, it was technically Frank plus 1.
Right,
so
okay.
That's 2.
Yep.
And then I think that one of Annette's parents' family friends, there was a medical thing, so they had to cancel at the last
So the
minute.
only one not excused was Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, the vinyl money thief.
Frank, yeah.
The no-show.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So, yeah, we had a good time last night.
Yeah.
Way too
fun.
late.
That was a lot of fun. There was no way I thought that I was going to make it till 2 in the morning.
Right.
Because I remember at one point we had sat down, we were playing another game, and I looked at my watch, and it was like 9:40. I'm like, oh, God. I got to make it another 2.5 hours minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking, okay, if I get till 12:15, 12:30, at that point I can do the I gotta hit it early tomorrow morning.
Yawn and stretch.
Gotta record nice and early. Got a lot to do, places to go. Steve, nothing's open. It's New Year's Day.
Yeah. No. I mean, you should see the list.
Yeah.
The to-do list.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were way into the late hours. So I've been, of course, battling, because why not? Battling a Christmas New Year flu bug.
Yeah.
And so this morning I felt like garbage, but here we are anyway, right? New Year's Day,
right.
2 weeks away. This is, I don't think we've done this since last year. Now, we've done weird recordings where, we've had to do 2 in 4 days or something. But yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we've sat here. More than that.
Has it really? Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's been almost 3.
Yeah. So you got off the boat. Well, first of all, before we get to anything else, I think it's important to say anybody who's listening to this from the force-fed Free Beer and Hot Wings podcast feed.
The hostile takeover feed, which was given granted approval for this.
Good.
To force feed you this podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you stick around and download this on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I think in the intro, in the 1-minute intro, it says that we release them every Tuesday, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you could We would greatly appreciate you subscribing. Just going to iTunes or Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, whatever app you use. Just type in the Steve and Kyle podcast. It'll pop up. Hit the subscribe button. And again, thank you so much. I've gotten a lot of comments.
Yeah, and we get it. I mean, I know it's not going to be for everybody.
No.
But if a few people enjoy it, then our job is done here. So
I like to think that the feel of it is the same. It's very conversational. Just a couple of guys sitting around BSing about the stupid things that go on in our lives.
Right. And it is tangential, which I think probably drives a lot of people crazy.
Yeah.
Because we don't get back to a lot of things.
Especially when we release them in like the episodes that were force-fed on the Free Beer and Hot Wings feed last week and then this week. In no specific order. In fact, I think they were in reverse order, which makes it even more complicated.
So yeah, a little bit different.
So do yourself a favor. If you're downloading this podcast and listening to it on Tuesday the 2nd, pause it right now. Mm-hmm. Wait until Friday. So that'll be the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yep. Wait until the 5th until you download that episode. Then listen to that one. Then Thursday. Then Wednesday,
yep.
Then Monday.
And then today.
No, and then last Friday.
Okay.
And then last Thursday, last Wednesday.
Hang on, you got a pen?
Monday, and then last Tuesday, and then today.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, this was not planned out well. If we had planned it out well, we would have made it work so that we would have just had the most recent 10 in a row.
No.
This goes to show.
So we have the most recent 8.
And then two new ones.
And then 2 new ones spliced in.
But the most recent 8 are even out of order because the week of Christmas we had the 4 most recent. And now this week we're going to have the 4 before those 4 mixed in with the newest one.
New plan.
Okay.
If you downloaded this episode, the important thing is that you downloaded it.
Yeah. Sure.
What you do with it after that, we don't care. So
burn it.
Make a little, take out a Post-it note and a pen. Write all the dates, and then just crumple that up and throw it out because you don't need it. And then just go back a couple months.
Yeah, start there,
and then you'll get it all caught up. So I mean, we made this as easy as possible.
Yeah, right. We're making this listener friendly. All joking aside, though, it is. I mean, one of the easier spots to adapt to is if you want to just jump in. If you do enjoy it for whatever reason, you're a sadist. Mm-hmm. I would suggest listening, like we've talked about, to the Year in Review show from last week, which we released. And probably the Year in Review show from last year, which was December whatever of 2016.
Yeah.
And those are going to have a few segments from our first year and now our second year. So that's the most decent jumping on point we can recommend. Yeah. Unless you're like, there's a few people that I want to talk to in person to see if they're okay, who went back and listened to the whole thing.
The whole
all of our entire show history.
Oh wow!
Because
like in the last week?
No. Oh. But like in over a course of a few months, where I've seen tweets from people saying, "Finally caught up, can now listen to the newest one on the Steve and Kyle podcast," and like we had somebody figure out the hours because these all didn't used to be 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
They were hour 15, hour 20, and then they just naturally grew.
I think the first one was like 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
But when you got a lot bustling at the brim, Steve, the only spout I have is this microphone here once a week. So, no, they naturally just grew to 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Which the total time for now, this is episode 76, is got to be astronomical.
Way too much.
Just ridiculous. So, if you want to do that, go ahead. I worry about your sanity. But if you're like a long-haul driver, I think that's how... I want to say it's how Adam listened, who we met in Boston.
Adam in Boston, yeah.
A couple people have done that, so feel free, I guess. But
yeah, I don't think Adam wasn't like he's not an over-the-road guy. I think he was home every night.
Right, but he drove a lot.
Yeah, he drove a ton.
Yeah, well, you were on your honeymoon, Steve, the last, year. It feels like.
Yeah.
It's been forever since we've been here. So I tried to tweet out a reminder or two during the week about the podcast, and so I tweeted, this was on the day after Christmas. Okay. To any Free Beer and Hot Wings podcasters who are being force-fed our little show and enjoy it, thank you so much for trying us out and riding along. We understand it may not be for everyone, but thank you for trying. Please spread the word for us, and thanks again. And that was...
Very nice little little tweet.
Yeah, and that was linked to our Libsyn page, to steveandkyle.libsyn.com, which is the easiest way to click subscribe right there.
Yeah.
And you, I'm assuming you from your honeymoon, found it and tweeted that out from the Free Beer and Hot Wings account.
Oh, yeah, I retweeted it, and I said something along
please
the line.
find it in your heart to support this fun little side project. Or don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, everything obviously tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Very, we joke around. We don't take this very seriously.
Yeah. It's the vein of the show that we do.
Exactly.
So how do you think...
Very self-deprecating.
Yeah. Now, there's one comment
to
that tweet, not to ours. To ours, we had a lovely comment from Leanne, but from the Free Beer and Hot Wings one,
oh, man.
we had one. I have it pulled up.
Okay.
Do you think it was positive?
No.
Negative? Or middle of the road?
It was definitely negative.
Okay.
Had to be negative. Who's this from?
A Twitter profile with was formerly an egg.
Okay.
And is now a
lump.
Blank lump. Yeah, from a lump of coal.
Okay.
So a lump of coal decided to comment, rename it to Forgettable and Boring Podcast, and I'll consider it.
So who's who?
If we're going in order,
yeah, I'm forgettable.
You're forgettable, and I'm boring.
You're boring.
I don't know which I'd rather be.
I think I got the better end of that.
Yeah. You know what? I like to think I make a few people laugh with some of the stories I tell. I like to think I'm not always boring. But I guess maybe I'm trying, whereas in you, he's just telling you that he just forgets what you're...
Right.
So to recap, you've been labeled forgettable and the guy who just copies whatever Free Beer says. I have been called that other guy and boring.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So welcome aboard. Thanks for listening, Twitter egg.
Twitter lump.
Twitter lump of coal. We appreciate your patronage.
Yep.
I'm sure he gave it a try. A fair shake. Mm-hmm. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Yes, we greatly appreciate it. Spread the word, share, and retweet if you could.
Now that was fun.
Now we did, as we talked about, we did the year in review last week's episode, the day after Christmas, I think, or maybe on Christmas it was released. I don't remember what day.
Raving success.
Now we had a tweet from Betsy Boo.
Yes, listener.
Yeah, long-time listener, wonderful, wonderful person. Very, very interacts with us all the time on Twitter. And she has tweeted at us, only 17 minutes in and already so many questions. So let's see if we can help her figure out the mysteries that lay within the year in review episode.
Because they all seem pretty self-encompassing. Now, I remember the show rundown, Steve.
I don't know, man. I didn't listen to one of them.
And they were...
I listened to the beginning and then the end.
I mean, if I remember right, they were all segments like Russia investigation breakdown.
Yeah.
And it was like 20 minutes. And then the other one was Super Bowl recap.
Yeah.
Things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what she could possibly have questions about.
Okay. Well, I can... I'll read these questions.
Sure.
And we'll try and answer them right now for Betsy. Okay, question number 1. Where's follow-up on the diabetes journal? I'm assuming that. JNL.
Oh!
Where's follow-up on the diabetes journal? Did you get holiday eating guide? Was it 12 distinct pubs? I need more. Okay, I'll let you take that one.
Sure. So, obviously, she's referencing the
Show Diabetes account.
The Show Diabetes account, which is where you received unsolicited mail 1 year ago.
Yeah, the Diabetes Journal.
The Diabetes Journal.
Getting us to sign up, or trying to get us to sign up.
Yeah. We were going to sign up. So the update is that we, spoiler, we didn't sign up.
Hopefully she didn't just pause that episode and then download this one, waiting for a response.
I'm just going to wait. I'll wait it out. So no, we did not get the holiday eating guide. I do kind of vaguely remember that now about the holiday. That was one of the things that was advertising. Like if you'd sign up, they were going to give you I think it was like a 1-page holiday eating guide. So I need a placard to tell me me eating 34 sugar cookies with frosting isn't good for my body. So no, we did not get that. And to the last question, I don't understand.
Was it 12 distinct pubs? pubs like, hey, you want to go to the pub and grab a pint? Or
That's
maybe
the
is that short for like publications?
Right. Well, I didn't think it would be
Well, she needs more.
12 of the same.
Yeah.
Matt, can you imagine if they just shipped you the same diabetes journal 12 times a year? Who's
right.
reading that?
All right. Well, I think we answered that very well.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Question number 2. Don't do whole seg on tattoo without telling us what it is. Did we do that entire segment on your experience getting your first tattoo with a man named Gator and never say what you got as a tattoo?
Boy,
that's hard to believe.
I listened pretty watchfully here, Steve, when I was pulling that for the year in review. That may be true.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Question answered.
Sorry about that, Betsy.
Yeah. So apparently, yes, we did do the whole segment without telling.
To recap, though,
What
a
it
man
is.
named Gator,
Yeah.
who was either going to be a lawyer or a tattoo artist, but prison diverted his course, tattooed my arm.
Okay. There you go. Question number 3. How did you find Gator? Do any research?
Oh, right.
At least ask a friend for a recommendation?
Oh, God, no. And maybe that wasn't in the segment.
You basically busted in the door and said, 1 tattoo, please.
I sent like 4 Facebook messages to different tattoo shops on this random Sunday, which where we live is pretty much me spitting on an image of Jesus on the cross.
Yeah. It was a couple months ago we talked about me up on my roof putting up a TV antenna on a Sunday and the looks I got.
Yeah.
I was basically, if you were to compare my act to your act, I'm Jesus
Yeah.
compared to what you did.
Yeah. I stomped on him. That's what I did. So my research went as far as the only place that would answer my Facebook message.
And that was in my mind, the message is something like, hey, do you guys do tattoos?
It was a question because
Your needles are clean, right?
Which,
on my way.
Which, again, I don't know if they were because I did not see him open a new kit or whatever, which I found out after is the norm, where you're the person's supposed to show you them opening and putting in a new needle and all this stuff.
I don't have any tattoos, but I've been there for a few different occasions when people I know who have gotten tattoos. And yes, that is 100% the procedure. They legally, I think they have to say, okay, here's the new whatever, the needles or the whatever other contraptions they use. Here we go. I'm opening this up, and they kind of like hold it out. So it's like when you order a glass of wine at a restaurant, and they bring out the bottle and they show it to you, and you're supposed to say, yes,
that's the one I was looking for. That's the. I think Gator and I's bond went further than that. That he thought he knew.
He knew. He knew that you knew.
Yeah, we had to spend a few minutes looking up online the picture of what I was getting. So we may not have had the time. So no, my Gator correspondence went as far as, are you accepting walk-in appointments today? Which, as soon as they said, yeah, come on in, I should have been a little bit weary.
Yeah.
But that didn't.
You don't want the tattoo guy that has the open schedule. You want the guy that you got to book weeks out.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows Gator tattoos. Everyone knows that Gator does things the right way, and his tattoos look the best.
They don't. He doesn't. Here we are. It's now been almost 2 years. I'm assuming I didn't get infected. But yeah, boy, what a tale. Again, that's one from the year in review. But it's hard to believe that was this year. I was still telling that. But so thanks to Betsy for that. You're welcome, I guess, for clearing those issues up. That's all she had, right?
Yeah, that was the third. Let me see.
No, you're welcome.
Yep, that was it.
We're here to answer your questions.
That's right.
Any more? Especially if you're a new listener. I'd love to hear like somebody who's going back and listening to early episodes, and they just send us a random out of context question.
I love that.
Where it's, hey, whatever happened to the golf cart?
There are so many times where I'm going through Twitter and I just see a question based on the most previous episode that was recorded 6 days ago.
Right.
And someone says, hey, you never finished the story about the goalie mask.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
This person's losing it. We didn't talk about a goalie mask.
In what universe would we have brought something as asinine as that up?
And then I go back and I look at the show rundown,
And
and one of the bullet points is like, the goalie mask incident. What?
I didn't have one. Did you have one?
Have you ever had a goalie mask?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Me either. Okay.
Yep.
Don't know what possibly happened. That's pretty much the arc of the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Yeah.
We talk into microphones. We immediately forget what we said, sometimes within the episode.
Right.
And then it goes out on the internet, and people comment on it, and they try to answer questions that we asked that we don't remember that we asked.
Yeah. So if you have any questions relating to episodes old or new that maybe we didn't get around to responding to, which I can't imagine we would do.
Yeah.
I can't imagine we would forget to come back and correctly wrap up a story that doesn't seem like our way.
That's not our style.
By the way, many thanks to all the Christmas gifts, the Secret Santa gifts from all the listeners who contributed.
Yes.
They're
I heard that
up on the walls.
Yeah. I heard that the Secret Santa gift that you received from, I believe, Mark in accounts
Who
receivable.
was that on staff?
Although I guess we don't know. Secret Santa.
Yeah.
I heard
that
that,
he had a weird sly grin
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like he knew,
So I heard through the grapevine that the Secret Santa gift that you received, which was a lid for what is it called?
Yeti tumbler.
A Yeti tumbler, the 20-ounce Yeti tumbler lid. I heard that caused a little controversy because there may have been duplicate gifts.
Yeah. I mean, duplicate gifts are bound to happen, especially in a Secret Santa where you're getting gifts from a Secret Santa and then you're getting gifts from family and loved ones as well. Mm-hmm. What I did not anticipate was triplicate gift. So
maybe Santa should have cleared it up with family members, but
So that was received the day we recorded, obviously the Secret Santa episode, which is December 19, and went home, showed Katie, said, "Hey, look what my Secret Santa got me. I wish I knew who it was so I could give him a proper thank you." And the next day or later that day, we're driving around, and I asked her what she has to do tomorrow. And she said something along the lines of, "I got to go get a few things or go to the store." And I said, "You really going to get out to the store, the weekend before Christmas?
Yeah.
That seems crazy." And she goes, "Well, I got to do a little shopping." And I said, "You said you were all done." She said, "Well, I was till somebody from your Secret Santa got one of the gifts I got."
Oops.
Which was something until my mother came over the next night to drop something off. And we're talking about it. She goes, "Oh, well, I got you one of those too."
So she had already listened to the podcast, your mother.
No, she found out in person.
Okay. Because she does listen, right?
Yes. Yeah, so she's hearing this now, so we have to have Mark send her an apology note.
Yeah.
Mark from Accounts Receivable. That is just not the way you want to get in with the host's mother,
No, not at all.
So I am in the process of returning that one. That is going back right now. So yes, I received.
So basically, you've had a flood of
Yeti lids.
Yeti lids.
If you would like to contribute to my Yeti collection, my Yeti lid collection, please let us know. We'll give you the address.
That could be your new thing.
Yeah, maybe I'll just different kinds.
Yeah.
So I have the open mouth one and now the magnetic slider one from Mark.
Mag slider is the way to go.
Yeah.
Mark gave, in my opinion,
right,
what might be the greatest Christmas gift ever given.
Mark's a good man,
Mark's a good man. Talk about an understatement.
Mark must be right next to the coffee maker and has heard me rue the day when I can close, that I couldn't close my lid.
Mark is a little confused, though, as to why he showed up with a generic sippy straw water bottle.
Sorry. Mark. No coffee today.
Huh.
So I just...
Mark would also like you to know that while the Yeti mag slider lid for the 20-ounce tumbler keeps drinks warm, it does just as good of a job keeping them cold.
Oh boy, Mark feels like Billy Mays. Really pitching.
Yeah, he was telling me all this before we walked in.
I there was a while where I'd bring a cup, like a Tervis tumbler, whatever, But then I'd realize with ice in it or whatever, I would have to step, I don't know, 6 feet away from the microphone. Otherwise, everything would sound like, yeah, Steve. No, this is fine. You can't hear this.
Well, part of the issue with the Yeti too is that it works too well.
Oh,
so
right.
you put 4 or 5 ice cubes in
Yeah.
there, you fill the rest with water, you finish the water, and then you're left with a glacier in a cup,
jingling
that is
ice
just
cubes,
not going to melt.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Mark wanted you to just know all that.
Well, I appreciate that, Mark, and I appreciate the gift. My mother and wife, not so much. But thank you very much.
You may be surprised to know that I received no duplicate gifts from the Steve and Kyle Secret Santa. Believe it or not,
Wow.
No one else in my life got me a 500-piece covered bridge puzzle.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't know you like the coworkers do.
I guess not. That puzzle was sitting out last night. That was one of the options that we could have done. We had a couple of games.
We could have put it together.
Yeah, we thought about it, but we said, we'll save that for a more special time.
Think of the beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So now you guys, this was talked about. Yeah. You guys you were on your honeymoon, so you spent Christmas on an island, Steve.
We did.
Now, you weren't surprised with anything because we had to bring Annette in on the Secret Santa episode to make sure that she did not buy you any gifts.
No gifts were exchanged.
Okay.
I gave her a card.
Okay, that was nice.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, in my mind, you got down there Christmas morning, you wake up in your bed overlooking an ocean filled with demons, and next to the,
scrambling, going to the trading post.
Right on your nightstand is a beautifully wrapped gift, like a nice watch or something like that. So you're busting out the gate to go talk to the local retailers about a bead necklace or something. You're telling me that didn't happen?
It did not happen.
Okay.
That went off without a hitch. I think that's going to be the norm in our marriage.
No more gifts.
I think we're going to do. We're not going to do gifts. We're just going to focus it all on the young kids in the family, the nieces and nephews, because we have a bunch of them, and it's going to be all about the kids until we have kids. Obviously, then it'll switch up a little bit. But yeah, we let's see. It was Friday, actually, the last day that I had work at the side gig, Friday the 22nd. Mm-hmm. Got home after the show and packed our bags. And by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock that day, we were in the car driving to Chicago. It was our flight. It was a direct flight from Midway down to Montego Bay. And we thought, well, since we have this whole customs thing we got to go through, customs, immigration, it would be easier to drive a couple hours, park the car there, get a direct flight back, hop in the car, drive back. And it worked out perfectly. We couldn't have been happier with that whole deal. So we drove down to Chicago, stayed in a hotel Friday night, woke up relatively early Saturday morning. Our flight was at, I think, 9:30 or so. Hopped on a flight. It was when we left Chicago, it was probably in the teens. Temperature-wise.
Yeah, nice and toasty.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful day in Chicago. 2 days before Christmas. The airport wasn't at all hectic.
No, I'm sure it was fine. Not like the scene from Home Alone where families are flailing with bags over their head.
Flying everywhere. So we the first issue that we had was we were flying on Southwest, so we went to check in. Because we needed. Normally, I would just check in online, but since we booked it through a travel agent, the way Southwest does it is different than all the other airlines.
Right.
You get a number, and then that is your boarding position. So instead of checking in, getting your ticket, and seeing, oh, cool, I'm in a B4 or row 4B or whatever, they give you a boarding number. So you just stand in line, and then you walk onto the plane. You don't have an assigned seat. You can sit wherever you want. Mm-hmm. So we get to the kiosk to check in, and you put since it's an international flight, you got to scan your passport. Well, that's not working right. Everything's just taking too much longer than it needs to. We get up there. We put the bags on there. Our bags can't weigh more than 50 pounds. My bag was 50.5 pounds because I had some of Annette's stuff. I had all my stuff. And then I thought, iPad's in there. Took the iPad out, dropped it back down to 50. Perfect. Everything was great. We get through security, which was surprisingly no problem. We were in the
Really?
security line for not even 2 minutes.
Wow.
And we were right up. The line for TSA pre-check was actually longer. So I have pre-check, but we went through the regular line.
Right.
Since Annette doesn't have it, I didn't want to leave her alone. We ended up getting through faster.
Huh.
Everything's great. We get to our gate.
Just don't remember similar courtesy the last time I happened to fly with you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did leave you in the dust. Well,
That's fine.
I'm married to Annette.
Waiting in line and struggling in line there. Just
That's right. It did take you a really
it
long
took
time.
way too long to get through security line while you were like staring at a fountain in the terminal
for no reason.
Right.
I had no reason to be there any quicker.
Right. It was All right.
Yeah.
So we got that for the New York flight.
so we got through and we get to our gate, and it's since again 2 days before Christmas, every flight is booked solid, especially flights from cold places to warm places.
Right.
So we walked up to our gate, and there was nowhere to sit. So I looked across, and the gate over on the other side, like we were flying out of A19 or whatever.
Right.
Well, I looked over at A18, and there were a couple empty seats. It's like a little countertop bar type thing.
Right.
So we sat down there, and we had an episode of, what was it? The Man in the High Castle that we had watched the night before, but we both were kind of dozing off towards the end of it, and we weren't really sure how it ended. So we're like, all right, let's sit down. We'll watch the last 15 minutes of this episode.
Recap.
And then we have the final episode downloaded on the iPad that we're going to watch on the flight.
Nice.
Great. Before we did that, we were both kind of hungry. We're like, all right, let's go over, we'll grab a couple bottles of water, a little thing of trail mix or something so we can eat it on the flight. And then we walked back. Well, when we walked back, we noticed, now there's a couple empty spots at our gate. This is great. But the way that it worked out, it was at one of those little bars.
Yeah.
Again, like we had sat at the one across the aisle.
Right.
And we were in like the same exact position. So as we were sitting in the same seating position, our back to the gate's down this way, just like the other seat, back to the gate, but our gate was across. Well, in the 15 minutes that we were watching this episode, in my mind, I thought we're still sitting across from our gate.
So you're staring across,
So I'm staring
waiting for movement.
I'm staring across. I'm like, still not boarding. And then all of a sudden, Annette says, "Oh, crap, we're boarding." And I turn around, and I'm like, "No, we're not." She's like, "No, this is our gate."
Look it, dummy. If this marriage is going to work out, I'm going to need you to open your eyes, okay?
So I turn around, I'm like, "Oh, crap." Grabbing all our stuff, running over there. Now, luckily, it worked out where I think our position, we were like B5 or something.
Okay.
They were on like the A45 through 60.
Okay, so you still had time to get set.
But still, my heart's pounding out of my chest. Like, imagine if I had missed the flight and I was literally sitting at the gate.
Right, but you were so consumed.
And I'm sitting there with my noise-canceling headphones on, so I wouldn't have heard the announcement that they would have no doubt made 10 times.
Just looking around.
Saying, "Steve and Annette, final boarding call,
Yeah.
Steve and Annette." Oh, man. That other Steve and Annette really is...
These couple idiots, they're
really-
going to miss their trip
really
to
isn't-
paradise.
Oh, God. That was like the first thing where I'm like, okay, headphones off. I'm just staring at this gate. I fly enough. I know not to be distracted, and I just need to be focused. So we get on the flight, and so again, we were B something. So 60 people had already gotten on this flight, roughly. So I'm thinking, all right, we're going to be in aisle 20 maybe.
Okay.
Because it was 3 on each side, 3, so 6 in a row, 3 left, 3 right. So I'm thinking, okay, well, on these flights, it always happens. People are traveling in twos, so it's 2 people sit down, there's 1 seat open.
Yeah.
2 people sit down. So you're not just going to be in the 61st available seat. You're going to be probably 20 rows back or whatever. Well, we walk on, and the second row 2, 3 empty seats.
Hey.
Everybody's just walking past because you just assume, well, I mean, there's no way that row's going to be open.
Right.
So there was a guy sitting in the third row, and I kind of made eye contact with him, and I pointed to those seats, and I was like, and I said it quiet enough because I didn't want the people in front of me to hear it. I was like, are those seats open? And he goes, yeah. I was like, boom, boom, we are in those seats.
I'd have questions for that guy.
I did.
Why'd you take row 3? What's wrong with row 2?
Well, no, I said to him, I was like, because after we claimed those seats, I turned around and looked at the guy, and I was like, why were these open? And he said, oh, well, when we got on the flight, we were kind of standing in that aisle, putting our bags up, and because they had a couple kids, so there's just like there's toys everywhere, there's diaper bags and everything. So people just walked right past it, assuming he hadn't actually gotten from row 2 back into row 3 until 10 seconds before we walked on. Great. So we sat down.
How about that? First class.
Because my my whole way of thinking is, if this is a regular flight, I don't care if I'm in row 20, because whatever. I'm going to get off the plane. It'll take me an extra 2 minutes to get off the plane. Mm-hmm. But with an international flight, when we get off this plane in Montego Bay, we then have to go through immigration.
Okay.
So in my mind, even if I can get in front of one more person, that's one less person I have to wait.
Saving you time.
Man, we landed in Montego Bay.
You take window, you take middle, you take aisle.
We ended up taking Annette had aisle, I had middle.
Look at you.
And we hoped, oh man, maybe nobody.
Yeah.
Well, then one single woman walked on the plane, and she did the same thing as we did. She was like, "Is that seat open?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's all yours." And she was one of those people, normal-sized woman, kind of, a skinny woman.
Right.
But, I mean, she wasn't like this little tiny frail thing, but she was one of those people that sat in the seat and, like, sat with her legs up in the seat and was so curled up that it was like no one was there at all. It was incredible. I've never seen somebody normal-sized contort. Like, she could have fit into a duffel bag. She had curled up into such a small ball.
Reference I have for that is that makes me think she's a guilty person. Now, I'm sure you are familiar with First 48, things like that.
I love that show.
You ever notice what every person being interrogated does?
Oh, they like tuck their knees into their hoodie.
They tuck their knees and their arms into their shirt, and they don't want to talk. It's like their own bubble.
And they try to play.
What this woman do, Steve?
I don't. You know something? I have no idea, and I don't care, because we rode on that flight down to Montego Bay, and I have Annette to my left. I have this woman who is now the size of a kickball in the seat next to me, and I was like, "This is the most comfortable center seat I've ever had."
Maybe she's like a magician's assistant.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, used to contorting her, like she fits in a suitcase type of thing, and then they unveil her in the show.
So we got down to Montego Bay, and man, they're pretty quick down there. Like,
really?
Right through immigration. We were probably 30 minutes max.
Okay.
We were through immigration, and then you come out. You're at like they say, okay, well, when you walk out of immigration, go to the left, and that's where you get to the Sandals Club. So we walked up to the Sandals Club, and they check us in. They take our bags and go inside, have a drink on us, and okay, let's do it.
But that's not the resort. That's like their club at the airport.
At the airport.
Okay,
yeah, this is at the airport. So because their transportation to and from the airport's included. So we were only in there for maybe 2 minutes, and they were like, "All right, buses are leaving." So they carry all of our stuff onto the bus. That was like. At that point, I gave them $5-6 tip to put our bags on the bus, and at that point, I didn't touch actual money for like another 6.5 days, which was the greatest thing. If you ever have the opportunity, do an all-inclusive, because you cannot tip them. They are not allowed to accept tips, and it was the greatest thing in the world, man. It was
a nice way to live.
Oh, it's fantastic. So we take the bus. We're on the bus, and everyone kept saying like, "Oh, wait until the bus ride." Mm-hmm. The bus ride's the craziest thing. It's an hour and a half to Ocho Rios. So you're driving along the north coast, and it's beautiful. It's, right on the coast. So you're looking out at the beautiful water the entire way there. And the bus driver's kind of doing his little thing, like, "Oh, on the left you see KFC, and you know what the locals refer to KFC as what? I forgot the joke. It was, oh, you know what KFC means in Jamaica?
What's that, Steve?
No, I'm a bus driver.
Oh, sorry. What's that, Mr. Driver?
Keep from cooking, man.
Oh!
Yeah. So it was really funny. Boy.
No home cooked meal tonight, kids. You're getting KFC, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
imagine how much we laughed a week later when the bus driver said the same joke as we were driving back to the airport.
So he's a 1-bit routine.
He's got he definitely had his routine. So everyone said it, man, the bus ride, it's going to be crazy. So I'm thinking it's going to be like you see in those movies where it's, you're driving up a mountain pass.
Right.
And you're
Right.
looking over the edge. And, oh, cool.
With a wheel off.
Yeah, it's a 5,000-foot drop.
Yeah.
Neat. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it did get a little hairy when we nearly ran over a goat going about 60 miles an hour.
Oh, no.
'Cause there were just goats walking around on the side of the road. And one of them was feeling kind of brave, walked right out in front of us, and that bus jerked the wheel to the right, jerked the wheel to the left. Luckily avoided the goat, but just barely.
Oh, my goodness.
Got to the resort, and so they do they drop you off at the main building. You have to go inside and just basically fill out a paper, put a credit card on file for incidentals.
Right.
And then there's a bellhop to walk you to your room. So our room was only a 2-minute walk. So we got there, and he's just making small talk with us. And I learned very quickly that they the whole "yaman." That is not a stereotype at all.
That's the culture.
Everyone says that constantly.
That's
Yaman,
crazy.
Yaman, one love.
Do you think
no problem, man?
Do you think they've adapted it because it's kind of expected?
I kind of feel like
Maybe they play it up.
But then I was trying to think of what's the equivalent? If somebody comes to America, I'm not going to be like, cheeseburger, baseball,
McDonald's, right?
I think it's just part of the culture. So the guy brings us to our room and swipes the little card, opens the door for us. We walk in, and the room's beautiful, and they had put down rose petals on the bed. And there's this really nice note that says, congratulations on your wedding, and thank you for choosing us to spend your honeymoon. We hope you have a beautiful time, blah, blah, blah. Call us if you need anything, room service, this, that, and the other. And we're just standing there, and we're like, man, this is beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. I forget what the man's name was. Thank you so much. He said, hey, no problem, man. You need anything, you call blah, blah, blah. They'll get you whatever you need. We're like, all right, great. Well, hey, thank you so much. Now, our bags weren't there yet. They were going to be dropped off in a few minutes. But he says, oh, and this, my service also comes with a song. And he started singing to us.
Oh, no.
So me and Annette are standing there. We're just like, what do we do? And he's singing and singing and singing. And I'm thinking it's going to be like, let's get together and feel. No, he's going into a love song. There are verses. It's we're hitting the minutes mark at this point. And we're just standing there. And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, do you hold Annette? Do you dance?
So I stood next to her and I did the awkward hover hand over her shoulder.
Oh, God. This is something, honey.
Okay. And then he finished, and we were both like,
oh.
we clap, and we said, that was beautiful.
Oh, I don't even want to be here.
It was extremely awkward.
I don't even like hearing it.
But then he left, and we were just like, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the whole week?
Can you imagine? Can I get a steak? Comes with a song.
Oh, no! Great. I made this steak medium well.
Can I just eat now, sir? Please? So they got you got the romance package. I'm sure you've got you got the rose petals like you said everywhere.
Rose petals on the bed. Later in the week we came back because they made up the rooms every day for you if you wanted them to. There's a little button on the wall that says a little switch, and it's either privacy or make up room. So we always made up room. Yeah, of course. You want your room nice when you come back to it. So a couple times we came back and there were rose petals again, and the rose petals spelled out "One Love."
Oh my goodness!
And they had another nice note for us. We hope you're having a great time with your beautiful wife on your honeymoon. And man, they know how to they do it right.
Yeah,
we are 100% sold on this whole experience. We'll be doing it again.
Yeah,
and the coolest thing was we learned quickly that at an all-inclusive place, since you can walk in, there are 16 restaurants. You can go to any restaurant you want. Only 4 of them you had to make reservations for. So there's like a French restaurant, a hibachi restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and there was one more. I forget what it was. But you can walk in, you sit down, and normally, like if you and Katie are going out for dinner, you may sit down and you say, let's get the spinach and artichoke dip, and we'll split that as an appetizer.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty common, split an appetizer. Well, we learned quickly that since it's all-inclusive, portion sizes are much smaller. Because I think that they're trying to...
They want to not discourage you, but they want to put the onus on you that if you want more, you're going to have to ask for more. Okay.
So the first night we're there, we had dinner on this beautiful terrace.
What'd you guys share?
Looking over the water. I think I had ordered a steak. She had ordered some salmon.
Oh, okay.
And we thought, let's get they have a shrimp cocktail appetizer. I like shrimp cocktail. That'd be great. So they brought us, we ordered that, and that thing came out, and it was 4 of the smallest shrimp I have ever seen.
4.
I'm talking, they're no bigger than like
a $50,
a quarter, $50. Yeah, they're tiny. So it's like,
but they're gourmet, Steve.
Yeah. I'm like 1, 2, and then he turned 2, and within less than 30 seconds, shrimp cocktail's gone. We're just left with way too much cocktail sauce,
right?
Because for 4 tiny shrimp, you need. We would have needed about a shot glass worth.
Right.
Of
well, that's how
sauce.
most people do it. Dip the shrimp in cocktail sauce, eat it, and then take like a tongueful out of the cup,
or do cocktail sauce
or
shots.
cocktail shot. Yeah.
So we the next night we went to a hibachi place. We made reservations at the hibachi place. So it's just like any hibachi place you've ever been to, where you're sitting with probably 8 or 10 other people.
Yeah.
They have all the same jokes. Look, Japanese egg roll, and they roll the egg across the.
Man, it's clever folks.
So they, we were talking to the couple sitting next to us, and they apparently go there every year. It's a tradition for them. They go every year at Christmas. They come to Sandals, and they said, little tip for you if you want it. Both order your own appetizer, even if it's the same thing, and between the two of you order 3 entrees, and you each get your own, and then you have one to
share.
And they said that'll pretty much even things out.
Wow.
So for the rest of the time we were there,
that's what
we
did.
We each got our own appetizer. I think one time Annette ended up getting 2 appetizers.
Hey, look at that.
2 appetizers, and then I don't think we ever did the double entree, but
that's smart.
So the last night we were there.
That's very smart.
Now, I have 0 experience with French food. All I know about French food is
baguette?
Snails.
Oh, okay.
Escargot.
I was going bread.
Yeah, baguette, croissant. So we were like, let's go to the French place. Let's try it out.
What do they have?
Honestly, it was a lot of normal. Like I ended up getting
spaghetti.
Yeah. No, I got the Chateaubriand. Which is like
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want to raise your chair a little bit?
Yeah. So
hang on. You know, I'm feeling a little. It won't drop. I need to drop my chair down because obviously we need to reflect now the higher standards that Steve is going to start reflecting.
Okay.
I won't make the mistake to ask you to go to a bar or restaurant anytime in the near future.
Not unless they have the Chateaubriand.
Right.
So Chateaubriand steak is a meat dish cooked with a thick cut from the tenderloin fillet. In contemporary times, Chateaubriand cuts of beef refer to a large steak cut from the thickest part of a fillet of beef. Okay. So I knew it was a steak, but nothing about it was like, I'm eating fancy French food.
Right.
But still, we walk into the French restaurant. You got to dress up a little bit more. So Annette's wearing a very nice dress. I'm wearing a nice pair of pants and collared shirt, and we walk in, and It's fancy. It's way fancier than anything we're used to.
But it's free, so
But
do it.
It's free. It's our honeymoon. It's the last night, so we wanted to go out with a bang. So we walk in there, and the funny thing was, most of the people there are obviously, like, if someone was to come here from another country, there are the stereotypical American names, like you have Jim and Tom and Sam and Bart or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So everybody there, for the most part, they have names that we are not familiar with here. Like there was one of the women on the party boat that we went on was Saskia. And so there's names that we're not familiar with. But when you hear somebody speaking with an accent, I don't know, it fits because okay, they're not from where I'm from. They're going to speak differently. They're going to have different names. So a guy comes up, our waiter at the French restaurant, just the nicest guy in the world. Probably our favorite, like of all the waiters and everything, of all the staff that we dealt with for a full week. This guy, he was just a nice guy. He was funny, making conversation, fun to talk to. And but he comes up, he walks up, and it caught both of us off guard because he goes, welcome on to the Le Gourmand, French cuisine. My name is Wayne. Like, Wayne? Wayne? That's not a Jamaican name.
Right.
Not at all. But hey, whatever.
In my mind, it was going to go the other way. Like, they force them to fake their names wherever they're working. So this Jamaican man in the French restaurant's now like, Pasquale.
Philippe.
Yeah, but then if it's at the hibachi place, it's Quan. Or, they just stereotype their names based on what restaurant you work at. So they have, 6 name tags. Mm-hmm. So when they go to, like, the local burger joint, it's Billy.
Yeah. So, okay, Wayne, sounds good. So we order our meal. They bring it out, and it's freaking great, man. It's like the best meal that we had the whole week.
So was it just a big steak for you?
Yeah, it was a big steak and potatoes.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
No, I'm guessing they just throw a baguette with everything.
Oh, yeah. We had to bring out the bread beforehand. It's all French baguettes.
Yeah. Just bread everywhere.
So just as we had just finished our dessert, we're just getting ready to leave. And we had a late reservation. I think our reservation was for 8:45. It was the only time they had available.
Whoa.
So by the time we're getting ready to leave, it's almost 10 o'clock. And the restaurant it's clearing out. There's probably only 6 or 8 other tables still seated. And one table, it's probably 2 or 3 tables over from us.
Sure.
And I hear a bit of a commotion, but I didn't really hear what was said. And Annette said, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "No. What did they say?" She said, "I don't know. It couldn't. The woman said something about her steak."
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's free. What's worst case scenario, right?
Well, then, so I look over and I'm kind of watching her now. This couple tables away, and the guy is sitting there with his back to me, but I can tell he doesn't have anything in front of him on the table. So whether he was already finished, I don't know. I feel like, based on the time that it was, I think we had like the last seating, so I can't imagine that at 10 o'clock somebody hasn't gotten their meal yet. Well, then I watch, and the woman, she's cutting her steak, and then she takes a piece of steak and kind of puts it up to her face to inspect it, and then throws her fork down. Like, not drops it, but boom, like physically throws her fork down. She said, "Mother effer, this ain't mother effing medium well." And I mean, it's like the scene from any movie where like the jukebox gets unplugged and it's like
the remaining eyes divert, obviously. So
Annette has her back to this couple.
Right.
She doesn't want to turn around.
No, because you don't want to drag attention.
So she starts laughing. I start laughing. Just
holy cow.
Laughing to ourselves. And then the woman goes, "F this, we're out of here." And gets up, and her and her husband walk out.
Wow.
And I'm just standing there. We're sitting there like, the hell, man? Like, these people are seriously the nicest people.
Yeah.
And so what we think happened was, since he didn't have his food in front of him, we're thinking he had already finished his. She had ordered hers. It came out wrong. Sent it back. came out wrong again, I guess.
Oh, boy.
And
But what a weird... I don't know. It's a free...
Well, I mean, it's
expensive, paid for.
Granted,
I get it.
It's
exactly.
It's not free
right.
because you're paying for it.
Right.
Like you're paying decent money to be there. But you're telling me that if you were to say to them, like, "Hey, sorry, it's wrong again," these people would do anything at all to make anyone there happy. And I truly feel like it was genuine. I didn't feel like if you've ever been to Disney World, you know that when you talk to a Disney employee, it's like, hey, welcome to the happiest place. Everything's great. What do you need? Do you need a Coca-Cola? If you want a Coca-Cola, go 15 steps that. Like, just the staff there just seemed extremely genuine.
Sure.
Everyone that we dealt with there, I think that it's just a cultural difference. Everyone that we met there just seems to be happier, seems to be...
Probably hard not to be.
Yeah, just like no stress. I mean, all the stereotypes that you think about of like going to Jamaica, like, hey, no, like I said earlier, no problem. Like they just seem like a happier people,
right?
And I'm sure if this woman had just said, "I'm sorry, I'm just really picky," or "This is just," but no, man, threw that fork down, mother, this ain't effing medium well.
That is fantastic.
Stormed out of there, and for a minute or so, they were carrying on out in the lobby, and to
making
the point,
a scene.
Yeah, to the point where we were like, "Do you just want to leave so we can go out and watch what's going on?"
Yeah, I kind of want to hear.
I'm going to get my phone ready, and I said to Annette, "I was like, you need to yell World Star once I start recording because I feel like a fight is about to break out."
Yeah, this woman and husband are going to fist fight.
Yeah,
the Sandals Jamaica staff.
Yeah. I hope poor Wayne wasn't injured.
Oh, man. Wayne the server. Wayne the French waiter.
Yeah. So that was crazy, man. That was a crazy ending to the whole thing.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing about it was when you were, like, since you don't have a bill at the end of your meal, when you're done your meal, you just
get up and leave.
Well, time to go. Get up and leave.
That's weird to me. That's so
I know,
foreign.
It's very weird because
so foreign.
You go out to dinner here, there's a pattern.
Yeah.
Come out, hey, here's some water. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, come back. What do you want for an appetizer? Okay, I'll go put that order in. And it always ends with, well, thank you so much for coming in. I hope everything was great. Have a good night. And you just leave that on the table when you're done with it, like the little credit card holder booklet thingy.
That's so awesome.
You just get up and walk out.
Living the life, Steve.
Absolutely.
You live the life for about a week. Now, I have just a quick question because I've always wondered. Mm-hmm. I've never been at a place like this where they throw the rose petals and everything everywhere. Yeah. What happens to those?
The rose petals?
Well, yeah, they're just there. You want to sleep in that bed,
right?
Unless you just leave them there and frolic around in rose petals. But what do you just brush them on the floor and then they come by the next day and vacuum them?
Sweep them up into your hands and put them in the garbage.
Oh. So, I thought this was a all-inclusive resort.
Didn't
know you were on the hook for garbage collection.
So you're gonna complain. You're not going to be thankful for the rose petals, right. But you're going to complain because there is now a burden of much responsibility on your shoulders to pick up. I don't know. 12 to 15 rose petals.
I mean, what's the go-to? You throw them on the floor and walk on them for a day until they come clean the room?
You could. I mean, I could have called...
It's like one of those places where you have peanuts in the restaurant and you just whip the shells far over your head as you possibly can and hope not to hit anybody?
Yeah, I don't know if any restaurant actually advocates for you whipping them over your head.
Oh, well, I've been doing it all wrong.
I think it's part of the atmosphere to just push them on the floor.
So the first time, were they on the floor or were they on the bed?
They were on the bed.
And the second time it was on the bed spelling out a word as
second
words.
Second time it was on the bed spelling out one love.
And there you also had to go shake the comforter outside over the the balcony.
No, we didn't have to. There was no shaking it. No, we just picked them up.
Oh, so
picked them up, put them in the garbage.
So twice.
Yeah.
You You were responsible.
You're
for...
really hung up on this, aren't you?
I didn't know you.
Is this a deal breaker for you?
I didn't know you were paying to be part of a garbage collection route. Because in my mind, they've got these roses that are dying, and they figure the best way to do it, go shake them over people's beds, make you suckers throw them away.
Well, I'm not sure I follow your logic because it seems like if they had dying rose petals,
sure,
like you're
correctly
insinuating,
right?
Instead of just saying, "Yeah, man, let's throw these in the garbage, man,"
yeah.
and just taking them and putting them in the garbage, you're thinking that it is saving them work to then pick them, give them to housekeeping, who then has to transport them to our room. Where they put them on our bed, and then we come in, collect them all, put them in the garbage can, which they then have to come back and pick up. So this is saving.
But they're already in a bag at that point. So listen, maybe not every conspiracy is for the small-minded like you, Steve. I like to think a little bigger.
So you're going X-Files on this.
Yeah, I like to think
the truth is out there.
Yeah, you got made to collect garbage on your all-inclusive honeymoon,
and they're just sitting back and laughing.
They're laughing their
stupid
butts off at you cleaning up their garbage. That's fine.
Well, that's
I know where I won't be visiting.
Guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
So
did you go down to the washer and clean your own towels too while you were there?
I'll tell you what we did do. Well, what I did do. Dipped my toes in the warmest, bluest waters I've ever seen.
Yeah, how many did you come back with?
Miraculously,
yeah,
I have all 10.
Okay. Huh.
Yep. No brushes with danger, despite the maps that we looked at in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, not just a map, Steve, a scatter plot, a scientific scatter plot of at what appeared to be certain death.
Well, appeared.
Yeah. So you're telling me you went out, you danced with the devil, you jumped into that blue vessel of demise and despair and
Caribbean
unknown
sea.
Creatures.
Yeah. Went out there and
I think that was me.
No, that was definitely me.
It?
I felt it. Yeah, it was like
oh no. I better mark it. Not like it matters. We have 8
that we haven't gotten
in the backlog.
So I went out on a catamaran because we took a trip, an excursion to Dunn's River Falls. Now, Dunn's River, it's a river that flows through Jamaica, and then once it hits the beach, it cascades down these beautiful waterfalls. Now, when we had signed up for this, I thought that the hiking Dunn's River Falls, I thought it was, okay, we take a catamaran, we get out on the beach, there's the waterfall right there, we kind of hike up next to it and get to the top of it, everyone takes a picture. Great, that's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Well, no, you get off the catamaran, and then you join arms with everybody else in your group, and you walk up the actual waterfall. Like, you climb up the rocks as...
Oh, sorry, Steve. Sorry, just the most recent example of a great white shark interrupting a family get-together on the ocean.
How many were killed?
Well, luckily they didn't, like idiots, jump off the boat, Steve. But a 16-foot great white shark circled the boat for a half hour. But it's fine. Continue with your lovely tale of...
I mean, you see me. I'm sitting here right now.
Teasing the man-eaters.
Like I got my feet.
Sure.
I got my hands.
Sure.
There's no obvious chunks taken out of me.
Yep.
Like, I survived. I'm here. I'm telling you.
That's fine.
I'm not predicting that I'm going to. I'm just telling you that I did.
Just keep on pushing the situation.
Okay.
So I apologize. So this was one of your excursions, right?
Yeah. So we get to these falls, and as I was saying, I assumed that hiking the falls meant we were going to I don't know, maybe there's like a pathway up along next to the falls, and you hike up that and you get to the top, and then this is beautiful. No, you literally walk up the waterfall as the water's rushing past you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, so we're But for the first half of it, you had to hold the hand of the person in front of you and behind you to form a human chain to get up this waterfall.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's amazing.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty awesome? So
that's because that's what I was like. Can you jump in it? Can you swim in it? Type of
you
thing.
can.
Like,
yeah, because I mean, it goes up a little bit and then levels off, then up a bit, levels off. So at various points, there are like pools of water.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, man.
It was amazing.
It was so much fun. Get to the top of it, and you hike your way back down. But that was a lot of fun. That was great. And then you get back on the catamaran, and then they ship you back. It's, I would say, probably 4 miles or so.
So that's the dual boat?
That's the dual boat with the fishing net connecting.
With the net in between, okay.
With the net in between. Well, the ride back turns into just a booze cruise.
Whoa, okay.
And it was a choppy day out there on the water.
Oh, boy.
And it was, I don't think anyone barfed.
Really?
Surprisingly, no one threw up. Few people fell because the waves were
that
crazy.
bad.
But yeah, I think it was probably between 3 and 4 miles to get back. But it takes, I mean, out on the water, it's really choppy. Plus, they go slow to make it, make the experience
make it worth a while,
a little bit longer. But yeah, man, I got nice and drunk on the way back, and
just a few miles.
Just a few miles.
Able to have what? Couple drinks? 3?
4, either 4 or 5.
Whoa!
I was drinking Red Stripe beer, which I don't drink beer at all.
Right.
But after some stomach issues the first day or so, the first 2 days.
So with the water, maybe?
Yeah, it was the water, because I was drinking mixed drinks, which I normally drink, but mixed drinks have ice in them.
Yep.
And the water is not purified to spec, as it's not purified to our high standards here in the good old US of A.
Right.
So I had some stomach issues for a day or so. And then we got back, we got off the boat, and sat down, like the boat docks right on this, it's basically this big like U-shaped dock that comes off of the resort. And so there's chairs all out, and beach chairs and everything. So we laid down. I was still nice and drunk, ordering some more drinks. I decided I periscoped at one point.
Very nice.
Had a bunch of people checking in, and I was nice and drunk that day.
On beer.
On beer. Yeah, and I stuck to the Red Stripe for most of the rest of the trip.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you're all about it now. You go into the store?
No.
Get yourself a 6-pack?
Nope. No.
Red Stripe?
Still don't particularly care for beer that much, but it's a light enough beer where it was...
Right.
I mean, it's like drinking water.
I noticed you didn't come back with unless you took them out before the beads. Did you take those out?
I got to show you a picture right now of one man. Now, I don't know if you ever watched The Office.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Michael Scott went to Sandals, Jamaica?
Yeah.
Which is where I went. Well, he came back with one single bead in his hair because he has very short hair. Well, Annette and I both laughed when we were sitting at the Italian restaurant one night having dinner, and Annette goes, "You see that guy over there?" No, what? And the guy was kind of behind me, so I didn't really want to turn around and act like I was staring right at him.
Yeah.
She goes, "Look at his beads." So I'm thinking I'm going to turn around. So I kind of glanced over and I saw that he had long hair.
Oh, okay.
And it was like pulled back in a ponytail. But I was like, "Oh, I can't see him." She's like, "No, look at his beads." So I will show you this picture of a man with a goatee.
Yeah.
With the ends of his goatee braided.
So goatee dreads.
He has like 3 goatee braids hanging down.
Yeah.
Each with a bead on the end of them.
That's so... Just think of the chicks.
Yeah.
That guy probably got from those beard beads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was something.
You think about curling yours, maybe getting a flat iron on there, just seeing what you can fit.
Making it straight?
Yeah.
No, probably not. And looking at these pictures reminds me of our one other excursion was to a place called Mystic Mountain. And you pull up to Mystic Mountain, and they have it's basically a ski lift that gets you up to the top of this mountain. I think you're 700 or 800 feet above sea level.
Wow.
And get up to the top of it. Now just the ride up there on the ski lift takes like 15 or 20 minutes, but it's beautiful. You get these beautiful views. of the water. And once you
get a little vertigo, get a little scared.
I was good.
All right,
I was good. Despite all of your hopes that I was going to have a disastrous time and get eaten by sharks.
I wouldn't say
fall off of high things.
But a lot of people can't do like a ski lift.
Yeah. That was good.
Now, was it like a roller coaster type where you bring a bar over your lap and everything, or was it just wide open?
No. They swing. It was exactly, if you've been to any ski lift, it was exactly the same thing. You walk out, the thing comes up behind you, you sit, they swing a bar down over you.
Oh, okay. Because
so you got a bar in front of you.
Okay.
So we get up to the top of it, and the thing about this place is they have the Jamaican bobsled ride experience.
All right, cool runnings.
Yeah, exactly. Cool runnings from, I think it was the 88 Calgary Games.
Something like that.
That turned into a Disney movie. And then there is a zip line tour. So we went to the first stop was the bobsled. So it is, obviously you're not on a bobsled track, but you're on basically a little roller coaster track. It was, It seemed like when you first walked up to it, it was like you were getting on a carnival ride, and like these little bobsleds pull up on a track, and you sit down on it, and they put a seatbelt on you.
Sure.
And then you just wait your turn in line, and when they say go, you have the like handlebars in front of you. So if you pull them all the way back, that's a brake. Like towards you is the brake. If you push them all the way forward, that's no brakes. Like you're going to go as fast as you want to go.
Okay.
So we weren't really expecting much from this at all. And what they did was they linked each car seats one person. They have buckles so they can buckle them together. So you can link your cars together and go down as a tandem, which is what we wanted to do. So I was in the front car, Annette's in the car behind me. People in front of us go, and then we pull up, and there's a bar in front of you, and she says, okay, when that bar lifts up, you go. All right, cool. So everyone else in front of us, the bar lifts up, they push their handlebars forward, and it slowly creeps because it's basically a little tiny dip, and then it's like a 180-degree turn, and you end up going back the other way. So I'm watching people roll out, and you see them barely creep away, and then I kind of looked over to my left, and I see him barely gaining any speed.
Like a scenic ride through the mountains, right?
Exactly. So I'm thinking, okay, that's what it's going to be. Well, then one of the employees comes up to me, and he says, hey, man. And he kind of like whispers it to me, but still doing it so Annette can see what he's doing, so she'll know that we're up to something. Hey, man, you want me and my friend to give you the Olympic push? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want you to give me the Olympic push.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, of course, everything not on the resort comes at a price. Okay, man, no problem, man. Me and my friend, we give you the Olympic push. But I tell you what, because the ride ends at the same place it starts. Because they push you off, you go all through this track down a hill, and then at the bottom, you come around, and there's like basically a lift to pull you back up. Yeah, just like a roller coaster. So the people that you see at the beginning, you see at the end, because the beginning and the end are the same spot. Mm-hmm. Tell you what you need to do, man. You make it worth our while. You give us a couple of dollars so we can get a beer after work. I'm like, hell yeah, man, no problem.
For the Olympic push.
Because we had brought like, I don't know, $20 with us or something. Dude, they pushed us so effing fast that I felt like we were doing 100 miles an hour by the time we hit the first curve, which was 15 feet in front of us. And so I said to Annette, I was like, I am not putting the brakes on the entire time.
Oh, my God.
Well, I had to lean. Like I said, you had to push the handlebars forward.
Yeah.
But for there to be no tension on it at all, I'm like
leaning all the way forward
at an uncomfortable angle.
Yeah.
And we went down this mountain so fast. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. She's screaming the whole time. I'm laughing.
So it's like a roller coaster.
It is 100% a roller coaster in the least safe environment whatsoever, because I'm leaning so far forward that there's no tension on the seatbelt that they put on me whatsoever. It's basically dangling.
You hit anything, you could go flying out.
Oh, my God. We hit the end of that thing like just screaming down this mountain. And they took pictures of us on the way down. I kind of wish we had bought one of them just because of you see the one where Annette's screaming and I have the biggest grin on my face as I'm pushing forward on these
like
bars.
A child on a go-kart.
Oh, it was great. It was great. So we did that. We finished up with the zip line, which was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So there was like 6 different point-to-point zip line stations. That was a lot of fun, man. So much fun. And
because those are like the legitimate ones where it's not 5 seconds, over a parking lot.
A few of them were short. Like a few of them were, there were. I think the longest one was 170 meters, so 500 feet or so.
That's a good distance.
Yeah, which is a good distance. But then there was also one that was only like. It was like 30 meters or something.
Yeah, where you could jump.
Yeah, it was basically just to get, we got to get here over to there, and then we'll get on the good one. But
worth it.
It was, absolutely worth it.
Yeah?
We actually considered booking another trip.
Oh, really?
Because if you book while they rope you in, man. Like, if you book now, save 10%.
You're a second away from a timeshare at this place.
I know. Well, I am going to sign up because they have, like, the Sandals Club, whatever.
So look at you.
I know.
They're going to be sending you Christmas ornaments every year.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you do the all-inclusive thing, if you do it once, like
you're never going to go back.
How do you go back?
Right.
How do you go, I got to stay in a hotel. I don't get free free room service whenever I want?
Yeah, what do you mean I can't call you and have you bring me a burger whenever I feel like?
We had breakfast in bed like 3 days that we were there.
That's the way to do it.
It was great.
So you guys probably lived like 22-year-olds all over again. You probably, up at the crack of dawn, partying, closing down the clubs, right? Celebrating the young marriage of a young couple, right?
Yeah. Well, part of that is true. We were up at the crack of dawn.
Were you really?
We were up at like 7 o'clock every day.
Oh, you're the worst.
It's
your honeymoon.
I can't get out of the...
What are you doing?
My body will not readjust. I would have to be off from work. I remember for the year that I didn't work in morning radio, when I worked at the NHL, actually it wasn't even a year. It was like 10 or 11 months. It took me probably 3 months to adjust to a normal 8 to 5 work schedule, where I wasn't waking up at 5 a.m. every day, paranoid that I had overslept.
I missed it, yeah.
So, we'd get up at 7 o'clock.
All right.
We'd be there.
Makes for a long day when you're at the dance clubs.
It does make for a long day when you're not at the dance clubs.
Oh, when you're not, Steve. Steve, it's your honeymoon.
Yeah.
You guys should be over with the new DJ Darkness at one of the many nightclubs.
There was a DJ. Now, what is the disease?
This is a bad start. Sickle cell anemia?
Yeah, I was a little confused when. One of the DJs was DJ Sickle Cell. That seemed weird.
Oh boy!
Not sure.
Like, is he playing on his illness?
I don't know. I mean,
wow.
Is every DJ named after a disease?
Kudos to him.
DJ AIDS.
Yeah,
like DJ Cancer.
Coming up later tonight, 9 to midnight. Got DJ Chlamydia spinning all the tracks for you.
DJ Polio is in the mix.
We're going to wheel him on up here around 8:30.
His iron lung appointment goes till 8, but he'll be here right after that.
Oh, my. DJ stage 4 lung cancer.
So we tried our best, man. We stayed out as late as we could. A couple nights we were out, like, legitimately late. But, dude, I just can't do it. And that's the same way. So it was not out of the ordinary. It was like, it's 9:30. Head back to the room.
Wow. So you guys were catching Murder, She Wrote and Matlock on TNT yet.
We did. We watched the first 48 a couple times.
Hey.
I love that show.
It's a great show. It's a great show. Not honeymoon fodder.
No, probably
especially,
not. No.
Newly married couple going to bed.
Tell you what, I just got an email just 21 minutes ago.
Oh, Sandals, they want you back, Steve.
From Sandals Resorts. They extended the offer.
10%?
Just for 12% off.
Oh, they're going to keep going. You hold out, you're going to get 15 out of this deal.
Now they want us to come back to Sandals Ochi Beach. Now, we loved Sandals Ochi Beach, but we're not sure if we want to just go to the same place again.
Right.
I mean,
you don't want to be that couple that goes every year to the same one like you met.
Experience everything. So,
okay.
I don't know. We might take them up on that offer.
You guys are going to be sandal snobs.
Yeah. Well, it's Sandals. They do it this way.
OG Beach was fine, I guess, but it doesn't have the amenities.
But we want to do
newly married couple.
Yeah.
You know, you're on your honeymoon, everything that comes with it. You guys are in bed at 9:30. You know, Steve, you probably put on your finest silk boxers.
Yeah.
Annette's putting on something nice. You lay down and you put on the First 48, a show about a murder and detectives investigating it, because Lord knows what's going to get your new beautiful bride in the mood.
Yeah.
Is a dead corpse.
A very graphic show, too.
Yeah.
Like, they show a lot.
Can you imagine being a family that they have to approach and say, hey, like, we have these camera crews. Can we publicize this case of your dead loved one? Oh, by the way, we have footage of you finding out your husband's dead. Can we use it?
I always wonder about that. Like,
it's nuts.
Who agrees to that?
I know. Well, we watched for the first time because my brother's a huge fan. My dad and he's a huge fan. I've heard him reference it, so I kind of felt out of the loop. So this past Saturday, we turned on pretty much right at 9 p.m. Live PD.
Oh, I've heard of that show. There are
like
commercials for Live PD during the First 48.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Which is like Cops, but better because it's happening as you're watching it. But
how do they?
I don't know, because you've got to have consent to be on camera. So there is some.
Live.
So there is. It is live, but there is some delay to the footage coming in because, you know, hey, I can't show this, or hey, I don't consent to my face being shown, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the rules are. It's madness, but it's fascinating.
But what if nothing happens? Like, what if they're following officers?
Well, that's why they have 6 precincts with, like, multiple officers. So, I mean, they're showing every traffic stop. Even, you know, most of them end with, like, you know, they don't have their license with them, or it's expired.
Just, get that light fixed.
Yeah. But then you get some that make me laugh so hard. Like, there was one that I saw where this guy was driving when he was clearly intoxicated on something, and he said, like, well, you're not supposed to be driving. I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
That's a great excuse.
It's just, it's odd. But so I guess I can't fully judge you, although I wasn't on my honeymoon while I was doing this with my new bride. But yeah, I spent a Saturday night 3 hours, 9 to midnight of live PD.
Those shows get me so hooked.
Because I never liked Cops. I was never like a real Cops guy.
I was. I mean, to an extent. I think that the novelty of Cops kind of wore off pretty quickly.
That's still new, right? Do they still show that new every week type of thing? So. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, another thing another very romantic task that I did on my honeymoon, besides watching the First 48.
Yeah. Hey, honey, take that. You know, you can go put whatever nightie you bought on or whatever you got from your bachelorette party. I'll flip on the dead corpse, but I'll pause it because I don't want you to miss the gist of the case.
Right, yeah. Well, I also never wanted to pass up a good deal, Kyle. I've been in the market for some new garage door openers. So,
were you watching an infomercial?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
So while we were laying by the pool one day, sipping rum punch, I was on directtools.com. Got a great deal on 2 new garage door openers.
Hey.
They'll be here tomorrow.
Hey.
I got them for $160 less than they had been advertised for the week before Christmas when I was looking at them, and I got a free Bluetooth speaker.
Got them. You took them for suckers.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely took them for suckers. So I placed that order. Probably the only one to ever order garage door openers while on my honeymoon
in Jamaica. So
in Jamaica.
To recap, you, bride, pool, bathing suits,
beach,
drinks,
drinks,
alcohol. So you're a little buzzing.
Yeah,
And instead of frolicking in the pool, kissing under one of those grottos, sitting in the hot tub, admiring your bride, you're on directtools.com looking at different garage door openers for when you return to reality.
Uh-huh.
You really know how to make a woman swoon, Steve.
Romance is not dead, apparently.
Boy, hard to believe you don't have a child that you brought home with you from all that romance.
So, I got some new garage door openers on the way. Pretty excited about that.
She must be so happy.
That kind of made me feel bad. Yeah.
No, I get,
well, you know.
But it's also not like you were married at 21 or 22 and have never had a drink before.
Well, look, man, she's sitting there reading her book by the pool.
Right. No, that's what I mean.
I'm looking at my phone like, I don't know, just scrolling through.
Yeah.
Got a good deal on these garage door openers. We need garage door openers.
Right. It's like I said, Ian, that's what I mean. It's not like you're 21, 22, married off the boat. You guys are, you're older than that. You're more mature than that to where it's not, hey, let's pound as much booze from 10 a.m. until 2 in the morning.
And trust me, there were plenty of people. Like the one day we were in the pool, and they have those swim-up bars, which are great. Mm-hmm. And then they have basically pub-style tables, like high-top pub tables in the pool. So Annette and I are standing at one of the tables just having a drink, and at the table right next to us, there is the party crew of, it seemed, I know a couple of them overhearing the conversation. A lot of them were teachers, so they're on their winter break, and you can tell that they're all just in their early to mid-20s at the most. It's just like, woo, shots, more shots, give me a mojito, give me some of those. It's like, and we're just standing there shaking our heads, and at one point, and it's like, do you just want to go to the other side of the pool so we can get away from them?
Right, and that's the difference, right? Yeah, you're going there for the relaxation.
It's crazy how 10 years ago, I mean...
You may have been that person.
Hell yeah. Shots for free at this resort. Well, first of all, there's no chance that I would have been able to go to this place 10 years ago.
Exactly.
But, yeah, man, it's funny how life happens.
Right.
You know, how you transition from one phase of your life to another.
All jokes aside, it sounds like that's the way I think most adults would do it. And not saying like immature people doing it that way. That's teach their own.
It's just
there for your taking.
Not, I mean, there are plenty of people that are my age that would have gone there and done it 100% differently and been out till 2 in the morning every single day. It's just not us.
Sure.
It's not how we do it. And we had a blast, and we want to do it again. And we want to try and get, like, a group of people to go.
Yeah.
Like, we want to do a group trip there. I know that Annette I think she had texted Katie the one day while we were down there saying, like, we got to do this. Like, everyone's got to come down. But we were thinking do that or maybe do, like, a group cruise or something.
Right. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about a cruise last night. Just
maybe we'll do a podcast cruise.
Go out in the middle of the night. Oh, boy.
The Steve and Kyle podcast on the open seas.
Yeah, I don't know if
You're not into... Yeah. I mean, you'd be separated from the sharks by at least like 20, 30 feet. Those... Not a cruise guy, huh?
No, I would try a cruise. I would try... Because when we were talking about it last night, I even mentioned I want to do like an Alaskan cruise,
would
too.
Would you do an interior room, though, so you could be as far away from those sharks as possible?
No, because I'd probably... I already worry enough about seasickness, which I guess an interior would probably be better, wouldn't it?
No. You need to be able to see the horizon.
But wouldn't there be less motion in the center of an interior?
I don't think so. I was I was on one cruise, and granted, I had the flu while I was on the cruise, which was the worst thing ever.
Right.
And for the last 3 days, I didn't leave the room. And the last night, we hit a pretty major storm, and I almost fell out of bed. The waves were yeah, it was bad.
Because I get pretty bad motion sickness.
Yeah,
that a cruise worries me a little bit.
It's I did Dramamine the first night that we were on because I was feeling just a little bit uneasy. But I mean, it's a big enough boat where you're just cruising, you're not feeling any waves. You have to hit some pretty big waves
to
in order
notice.
To feel.
Okay.
So if you're interested in the Steve and Kyle podcast Open Seas Adventure,
sure.
Maybe tweet at us with hashtag I'm on a boat.
Hashtag I'm on a boat. We'll do live tapings every day of the podcast.
Every day, huh?
We want to get a backlog so we don't have to record for
That's
like a
true.
month.
Yeah, that's true. That would be fun, though. I would do that.
That'd be great.
Seriously, you
I'd
can
do that
do,
in a heartbeat.
you can do cruises for, if you want, like if you do the interior rooms,
Right.
you can do them for $200.
Well, and the time of year, too, you can get them
Yeah.
for so cheap,
Yeah.
depending on when you go. So, yeah, I'd definitely be interested in doing a cruise. I'd
All
do
right.
that.
I think this time next year we should do a
I
cruise.
don't want to get off the boat.
Yeah, I mean, most of them have like
Stops.
Yeah, have stops.
But no, they dock and you just walk off the boat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd get on a smaller boat.
No.
And
no, like when we were
ride
in the one catamaran that we were on went past the port in Ocho Rios.
Yeah, no, that's the double boat.
That's the double boat fishing.
So you
net
went past Ocho Rios, which obviously is the lesser known brother of the Ochi Beach, which you condescended to a little bit ago, right?
Right. Yeah. Of
Okay,
course.
good.
I mean, we looked down on them.
Yeah.
No, there were two. The one day that we were there were two massive cruise ships.
So they
that
pull
were,
in, stop for a few
they
hours.
dock. You're
But
there
that's where-
usually for the day.
But that's the spots where if you got off would be the areas that you said you saw. I don't know if I'd want to go there.
Well, where they were, there was a dolphin cove like right next door, so you can go swim with the dolphins.
You know what dolphins are?
Mini sharks.
Shark bait.
Man, I don't consider myself like an animal rights activist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I think that I think that people that treat animals unfairly are terrible scumbags. I'm not a hunter, but I'm okay.
Sure.
I'm perfectly fine with
Talked
hunters.
about it.
It's it's just never something that I got into. But man, it really affected me seeing dolphins in an enclosure with a bunch of people around them and people blowing whistles, and then they had to jump up and do flips.
So they're
and
stuck in this cove?
they are in this cove, and it is no bigger than half a football field. And I'm just looking around, and I'm looking out at open waters and thinking, that is where these things should be, and they are trapped in this tiny, 200 by 200 square foot, or 200 by 200 foot enclosure, and it's just every day, all day. Do a flip.
Make tricks.
Swim
Make
up
me
to
money.
me. Yeah, look like you're smiling when we're taking the picture. And it really made me feel bad.
Yeah, that's sad.
I had never... I don't think that was something that I was ever really interested in.
Yeah.
But that was one of the options when we were planning the trip. That was one of the
Swim with the
excursions we could have
dolphins.
done, swim with the dolphins. And I just kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't really feel like... I don't want to do that. But when we went right past it, I thought, oh, I am so happy that we didn't do that. I don't want to be
felt miserable.
I don't want to be any part of this
Ugh.
because I would have been the guy asking questions like, so when do they get to leave?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't. Oh,
Yeah,
this
you
is
just call them back at night then, or how's this work?
This is just their life for forever until they die in captivity.
Yeah, that's
And then
miserable.
so they had the main pool where like the main attractions took place, but then they had these little side pools which were no bigger than this room, and you just see these poor dolphins in there swimming around like they like one tail flip and they're at the other side already.
Oh, man.
I mean, those things, they travel like 100 miles a day.
Right,
if they're
right.
out in the open water, and they're confined to that. Ugh, made me feel terrible for them.
Huh.
So don't swim with dolphins.
Yeah, well, that brings the room down.
Didn't really mean to do that.
But hey, married Steve, right? Honeymoon,
Yeah.
Jamaica, sandals,
Yep.
sad animals.
Fast five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You want to get into this, or I don't know, it just seemed.
I'll have to be able to lift my head up off the floor.
I
Boy.
think you're up first. here
Yeah,
for
okay.
Fast
I will.
Five.
I will lead it off.
This is our first Fast Five
of 2018.
of 2018. Yeah,
The first Fast Five. Which, by the way, you know what? Next week, I think we need to talk about this. Our friends on Twitter, I think it's at PTR Radio, tweeted at us to join in on their celebrity death pool.
Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't. I guess technically, our votes had to be in by now, but
Yeah, I think we'll make an exception because they asked us, and we're the bigger of the two. So
Yeah.
we will. I think we should do that next week. I think should each of us pick 5, or do we want to do like 3 each, or do we want to do 5 as a podcast?
I think we have to do it as a podcast. I think we come up with 5. Why don't we each come up with 5, and then we will
combine?
Yeah, we'll do like a draft, and we'll pick our 5 strongest.
Because I was thinking we do like 3 that you're like, okay, they're old or they're sick or whatever, and then we do 2 dark horses.
Yeah, like 2017, Tom Petty would have been a dark horse. Granted, the guy was 70
Was he in his 70s?
I think he was late 60s, early 70s.
But appeared healthy.
Still, he would have
Touring.
been. Yeah, he would have been a darker.
Well, I'm thinking.
Okay, so for next week, our Fast 5 will be 5. Why don't we each do 3 old people and 2 dark horses?
Yep, and dark horses, they're not going to be regulations. Just kind of do what you think is right for a dark horse. Somebody that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, like if you were to say Barack Obama, he'd be a dark horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Chances are, seems like he's in very good health.
Yeah.
And, no signs of deterioration yet.
If you want to join in, tweet at us. Hashtag Celebrity Death Pool. Yeah. We'll get. I think it is at PTR Radio. We'll get them involved. They're putting this together, so it'll help them, and it gives us something to kill time with.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So we'll each next week Fast 5, 3 good guesses or 3
like logical that would make sense.
3
that they
logical,
would pass. Yeah.
2 dark horse. That'll be our Fast 5.
Yep.
All right, so
sounds good.
Let's get back to this.
Fast 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, go.
New York Times.
Let's see.
In the news.
Yeah, for the God, what the hell am I trying to say? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just whatever.
Top 10 lists.
Top like anyone
like end of year top 10 lists.
Okay. Yeah, they're very BuzzFeed.
Yeah. The flu.
Anti.
Okay, so you're. I want to check what camp you're in.
Very anti-flu.
I didn't know how to phrase this, but the L.A. to Tokyo flight. Did you hear anything about that?
Oh yeah, with the one that who was it? Chrissy Teigen was on.
Yeah.
So what happened with that? Was they got like halfway there and then they realized somebody was on the flight that shouldn't have been on there?
Yeah.
It was like brothers that
it was something
shared the same
weird
stuff. Like 2 brothers got on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it seems silly that they would turn around.
Massive inconvenience.
Yeah.
And lastly, the Russia investigation.
Has much happened with that in the last week?
I don't know about much, but it's still in the news in terms of so it kind of ties in with the New York Times, but so Donald Trump had come out and just said, "Oh, this whole thing, it's a bad look for the country."
Yeah.
Bad, which again
sure is.
Yeah, which again brings to then just let them do it and be over with. The more you talk about it, who else? What are the reason to talk about it and reference it in that way if you're not guilty of something?
Yeah. And it was weird because he basically sat down for a 30-minute long very impromptu,
right?
Like, in no way planned interview with the Times. What was that at Mar-a-Lago or something?
At his golf resort, Mar-a-Lago, and this guy has not covered Trump. Was there, introduced himself, and then Trump called him over to a table and gave him an impromptu 30-minute interview,
which is like unprecedented.
Yeah, but the problem became it was published, and this is why New York Times is on the list, so we can cover this as well. It was covered as just a transcript. It was published as kind of this long, rambling rant of Trump, and there were never follow-ups asked. There was nothing questioned or said, hey, that's a lie, or hey, that's incorrect. It was published as
this is just what happened.
Yeah, no pushback. So it was a really bad look for the New York Times, who's also received heat for their in this town of Trump voters, they still believe yada yada. They're kind of running afoul of people who look to them as the paper of record.
Right, yeah. Yeah, very weird. The whole situation is just really weird.
Yeah, it's like they don't want to lose access. I don't know. It's inexplicable to me why they published it that way. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
Bad look. The LA to Tokyo flight you mentioned somehow got halfway over the ocean. they realized one of the passengers on board.
How long of a flight is that, by the way?
It's got to be like 12 hours.
Yeah, I would think so.
And one of the passengers on board was found out to be in the wrong plane, still going to Tokyo.
But it was two, it was a guy and his brother. Mm-hmm. Somehow both got onto the plane using the same boarding pass or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Unless I'm getting another story confused with it. I thought it was all the same story.
Still going to Tokyo, but because he was on the wrong flight somehow, which, again, missteps by everybody to even allow that to happen. So they, instead of just going there and then sending the plane back with him on it, turned the entire thing around.
And keeping him there until they can figure out what's going on and then send him back or whatever.
Nope. Turned the entire plane around of people to Los Angeles to figure it out or take him off the plane and then send that exact same plane back to Tokyo.
So in my mind, they got, it's a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
Take off. They're halfway there.
Mm-hmm. So 6 hours
over the Pacific. And then they decided, oops, this guy's not supposed to be on here. Turned it around. Landed.
Another 6 hours.
Pulled up to the same gate. Opened the door. That guy walked off.
Right.
Closed the door. Back out. And just took right off. Granted, we've all been on flights where we know that is the one thing that never happens is anything quickly.
Yeah.
There's never no problem.
Yep.
We'll fix that next time. It's, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be shut down.
No, we have to stop now, and
we need to, for some reason, the person out at the gate has to print off on their dot matrix printer that stack of papers that's 5 inches thick and hand deliver it to the pilot.
Right.
But not before tearing off the little perforated edges on the side, which the airline industry has to be keeping that company that makes that old-timey paper.
The only company probably left who does that.
Yeah. Those things, get a laser jet or something.
Maddeningly out of date. Maddening.
Get an iPad.
Yeah.
Have it all on the iPad.
Yeah, do it a little differently. Catch up.
Yeah. Can you imagine being on that flight?
More than double the time on already a crazy long flight.
I hate when they come on and say we are fourth in line for fourth.
Yeah,
fourth in line for takeoff.
I won't wait that long.
We're gonna be sitting here 6 minutes. No, I want to take off now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being halfway into an already insanely long flight, a 12-hour flight, and then you realize, everything we just did, we have to do it all again. Twice. Because we got to fly back, let this guy off, then fly back, and then at that point, I'm still only at the halfway point.
Yeah, and then you still have 6 hours. Woof.
No.
Before that, the flu, I was told that cases are up, I think, 400% this year.
I heard that the flu shot this year is only 10% effective. Do you get a flu shot?
I don't.
Me either.
Katie has now rubbed it in my face the last 4 days, saying, going to get a flu shot next year now?
Because I've
been sick.
You both got sick, right? And she was over it in a day.
Yep. I am not. I
Cold now.
Since December 27th.
Your wife who works in the medical industry.
Yeah. Okay. She thinks I need to get the flu shot, but we're on day 5. It's fine.
You're just going to power through it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure it'll turn the corner anytime.
You know who didn't have the flu shots? Our ancestors. Cavemen.
You're darn right. You know what? That's very true.
Yeah.
So if she wants to spit in the face of my ancestry,
apparently she hates
inappropriate.
Hates all old people.
Yeah, apparently my family's just dead to her because they didn't get the flu vaccine. Before that, year-end top 10 lists. You see about 1 billion of them the week leading up, and they're always meant to get a rise out of top 10 movies, but I'm going to put, a piece of garbage here. I'm going to miss one.
Yeah.
And
see, I'm torn on this because for the side gig, for the radio show, it's great.
Right.
Because it instantly creates controversy and discussion. It's I just blank on them so much. The top 5 sporting events. And because without fail, every time, no matter what the topic of the list is, you look at it and everyone's reaction is, man, that was this year?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2 years
ago.
Boy.
What an event.
Yeah. Oh, number 6. Man, that was this year?
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought it was 5 years ago.
The other ones I like are the aggregate ones. So if it like YouTube, the most watched YouTube videos this year, like that to me is fascinating because, well, a couple of reasons. One, it makes me sad. Like, how did this guy with a voice changer shooting a nail gun in his arm like get 85 million views?
A bear juggling lemons?
Yeah, like
why?
That's great. Like, this is cool, but it's also kind of sad that this is the top thing watched. But those are the only ones I really like. Like, hey, the most read articles on our website, whatever. But yeah, objective or personal. These were the best, and this is my list.
Yeah,
I don't care, man. Good for you.
Yeah, unless you're an authority on it, you shouldn't make any lists.
Right. Just stop. And we talked about the New York Times in the news for
that is
the wrong reasons a lot lately with dealing with the president. So obviously they're referred to.
It's like nobody's minding the store.
It's crazy. They've been referred to as the failing New York Times by the president.
Yeah.
And now they are releasing what is being construed as fluff pieces to the president and the president's voters to get back in their graces.
Yeah, which
or something. It's weird.
It's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a great week for the New York Times.
All right.
Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Kyle. This one's very important. Right. First one, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, man, that she sang a song or a couple songs.
It's weird too because depending on whose article or whose review you read, she either knocked it out of the park or failed worse than last year.
Well, I'm sure she lip synced again.
I'll be honest. We didn't watch 1 second of it.
No, I noticed her on the screen.
Yeah, I glanced over at one point, and I think you said like, "Oh, it's Mariah. It's her big comeback.
Yeah,
redemption."
Yay.
And then we went back to our game.
Yeah, I don't get the idea to what we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Next, starting 1 hour ago, the NHL Winter Classic, the outdoor game.
We'll come back to it. They ruined it.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll be interested to find out how. Next on my list, very generic, 2018.
Hey, we're here.
Hey, we did it.
We're here.
This is going to be the year.
Yeah.
Hey, this will be the year.
It's going to get better. I can't wait for Twitter and social media to, at the end of this year, have 8 billion memes about me at the start of 2018.
Yeah.
Me at the end of 2018. And one of them is going to be grosser than the other, Steve. I'll let you decide.
Or no one has done this. I'm surely the first person to think about it. The tweet where you say, I've already written 2017 6 times today.
Oh, not on your checkbook. No.
Okay, next, I'm interested to see what your thought is on this. It's something very near and dear to your heart. Jim Caldwell.
Oh, get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, glad he's gone.
All
Good
right.
riddance.
Detroit Lions head coach.
Former
head coach.
Very important to discern that.
And fifth on the list is Arctic Blast. I feel like we hear that term a lot now.
If this is just the regular. Like, is this just the way we live now?
I don't know,
man. In the negative one, it was -1 at 8 a.m. this morning.
Well,
it was -10 the day after you got home.
When we were driving home from Chicago the other night, it was -11.
Yeah, the locale we're in set a record 2 days in a row with lows of that day at -10 and -11.
Bummer.
So maybe this is just it, Steve.
You
Maybe
think?
this is how we live now.
It's crazy though how we don't have like a few months ago, and I know that there's an explanation for it, but in my mind it's so hard to believe that a couple months ago it was 80-something degrees and it was beautiful and you could go to the beach and stand outside for 5 minutes and you're dripping wet with sweat.
Yeah.
And that was really made obvious to me, like the differences in temperature when we left. Within a 4-hour period, we had an 85-degree temperature drop because it was 85 when we left Montego Bay on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, and when we landed, it was 0.
Now, if I know Chicago and if I know flying well, which obviously not nearly as much as you, your scheduled flight time was something like from Chicago to here or whatever. Oh no, you drove.
Yeah, we drove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I apologize because I'm sure there would have been a 1 to 3 hour delay for de-icing that they apparently never ever remember in winter flights. Somehow we're still de-icing.
Yeah.
I had one in the
Maybe
winter.
pad that in there a little bit.
Yeah, adjust your flight times a little bit because it happens all the time. Like, well, the plane's not de-iced. Half hour late, 40 minutes late. Oh, then you're going to miss your connection. Then
now, what I don't
the
understand
worst.
is they de-ice, obviously. Now, how exactly does that work? They spray the stuff on the plane.
Yeah. Do they just wait?
And then, because there must be a certain time frame that de-icing is good for.
Right.
Or, like, is that only an issue when you're taking off?
Right.
Because, like, we flew from where we took off from, it was 85 degrees. So, obviously, they're not going to de-ice us.
Yeah.
But we're flying into
the ice.
Into a blizzard.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm thinking, like, are we okay?
Yeah.
Are we going to be good? Because there's nothing, like, it's pretty cold out there.
I'm flying in 17 days. Mm-hmm. There's nothing I want to do less. Hate it.
I don't even... Oh, Arctic Blast, of course. So, yeah, that seems to be the popular terminology for it these days. Going back, Jim Caldwell.
Yeah, former Detroit Lions head coach.
You were not a fan.
No.
Also, the offensive coordinator was fired, too.
Was he?
Right?
Good. The greatest name in sports history, Jim Bob Cooter.
Maybe it wasn't him.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that. I thought I saw...
Well, none of them are under contract.
Who
so
was the defensive coordinator?
Terrell Austin.
Man, I'm not sure. I could have sworn I saw an article saying that along with head coach Jim Caldwell, so-and-so is...
Pretty safe to say the whole staff or the majority of the staff will be gone.
Right.
Because anytime you bring in a new coach, you like to bring in their own people.
All his guys. Jim Bob Cooter. What a name.
The greatest name. Caldwell seemed by all reasoning, seems like one of the 4 years. Seems like one of the greatest men around. Everybody talks about his leadership and how they look up to him. Very, very marginal as a football coach.
Okay. Well, he's out. 2018.
Oh, man, we're here. We're going to make a dent, Steve.
This is going to be the year that things change.
Yeah. It's all...
S gets real.
It's all...
Do you make resolutions?
Nope. No, because then it's just more disappointing when I break them.
Yeah. I
tell myself every year I need to be healthier and I need to do whatever, but...
I did one year, maybe 5 years ago, I made a resolution to not eat fast food for the whole year. I did it.
Nice.
Yeah. I made it an entire year without fast food, and then it was like January 1st of the next year.
Back at it, man.
I'm like, well, I got to go to McDonald's for breakfast.
Burger King for lunch and Arby's for dinner.
Yeah.
No, I mean, last year we did the Whole30, which we talked about extensively, that... I think I'd rather die.
So eat like bark.
Yeah, it's just the worst. Just the worst. So no, I don't. I should, but like I said, it's just more disappointing when you break it.
Yeah, I never really think about it. A lot of times I'll come up with something like 2 or 3 weeks into the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always I'm getting back to the gym this year. I'm gonna get in good shape again.
Yep.
Because I was on a tear last year.
Yeah.
I'm going every day for like 3 months.
Wayne Dreamboat.
Yeah, Wayne Dreamboat. And all I could think about while I was sitting on the beach for the last week, like looking down at my gut, thinking, "You almost had it, man.
Yeah, you could have stuck with Wayne.
You could have just I got sick one time."
And never went back.
It killed it.
Well, Wayne left too, right? Or Wayne went MIA.
That's the rumor.
Oh man.
Yeah, WD was he hit the bricks. All right, NHL Winter Classic. Puck was dropped about an hour ago.
Yeah.
New York Rangers and Buffalo Sabres at Citi Field, the home of the Mets.
It's neat, but the reason I said that I think they ruined it is because it used to be 1 or 2 games, and now it's a series.
Well, it used to be one. It used to be one, but now they do the stadium,
a lot.
The stadium series.
And it doesn't have the same feel, like
I
Thanksgiving
agree.
Football. Well, now the stadium series is over like 4 days, and it's still neat to see the throwback jerseys and the different type of sweaters.
Yeah.
And
I still enjoy it.
It's very cool to see, but it's still foreign. I think it was last year, 2 years ago, when they pushed Los Angeles, and they're just spending millions of dollars to keep the rink cooled outside. I get the idea, but I
understand why the NHL is doing it because no one watches hockey. No one in this country cares about hockey. So
make it an event.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to get people talking about it. So they see the success of it. for the first time. So they figure, okay, well, it worked one time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's stretch it out, like you said, over a couple of days. Bunch of different stadiums. We're going to get national TV. It's going to be on NBC.
Sure.
So people are going to see it. No one's doing anything on New Year's Day. So if they flip on the TV and they say, oh, it's a hockey game and it's snowing out, what's going on?
Right.
Oh, maybe I'll watch another game.
Yeah, the only problem they run into is now with the college football playoff, there's a ton of college bowl games on today, right now, that they're going to run into. But yeah, I like the idea, but I like, leave it to the NHL to ruin the one good idea they've had in years.
Yeah. And finally, Mariah Carey. She had her big redemption last night.
Boy, was it.
And she sung those songs that she
So good.
Sung. I heard that she asked for a cup of hot tea halfway through the performance.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Because I guess her throat was sore.
Well, she is the ultimate diva.
Isn't she just so relatable?
If there's one person in Hollywood and celebrity that I think she'd be like, just go have a beer with.
Yeah.
Go have a drink with. You think about going to your local dive bar, pulling up a stool with like a rip in the pad.
Yeah, give Mariah a call.
Having a beer out of a tap that's about 6 degrees too warm.
Yep.
I think Mariah Carey's sitting next to me.
Sitting right there.
In one of her, designer gowns that she probably wears to get the mail after getting a 45-minute...
She doesn't get the mail.
That's a good point. After she makes her servant go get the mail, but she's got a designer gown at the door in case there's photographers.
Yep. Yeah. Very relatable, that Mariah
She is.
Carey.
She seems like a real sweetheart. 3 marriages now. This one seems nasty with her and Nick Cannon. They don't seem very friendly anymore.
No. That's a shame.
Maybe he just doesn't know how to relate to the common woman.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey.
That's probably it. That is probably it. And there you have it. The first Fast Five of 2018. And 2018. I've already written 2017.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh, resolutions.
If you think you're the first person to tweet that,
don't do it.
No.
Think again.
No. It's all right. It's all right.
It's an accident. It happens.
There was a point that someone did originally say that for the first time.
It's done.
Yeah. You're not that person, though.
Nope, you missed it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you listening. Again, Free Beer and Hot Wings listeners, thank you for if you're still sticking around. StephenKyle.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. You can download, subscribe, review the show on iTunes. The show, that is, not the shoe. In iTunes,
go
Google
to
Play.
East Bay if you want to review the shoes.
That's true. East Bay. Oh, East Bay.
Good website. Good catalog.
iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, Libsyn, StephenKyle.libsyn, LIBSYN.com, as I said earlier. On Twitter, @StephenKyle, Facebook.com/StephenKyle. And Snapchat. Do we still have the Snapchat?
It's still there. I haven't opened it in about 2 weeks.
Oh, because I actually snapped something last week, and Stephen Kyle Pod was one of the ones that I snapped it.
Oh, so it'll be there one day if somebody opens it?
Yeah. So on Snapchat, Steve and Kyle Pod.
Yeah.
Appreciate you listening. Thank you for sticking around through the holidays. Hopefully you enjoyed the year in review.
Yeah. Anybody like like you mentioned, anybody who jumped on board from Free Beer and Hot Wings, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We know it's we're probably the 2 least liked people ever for the masses, but thank you for giving it a try. Hopefully, if you stick with it,
we fully recognize that.
Yeah. From what I understand, is it grows on you if you give it a chance. We know it's a little bit different and maybe hard to jump on board with the tangents, but thank you as always.
But today, this episode, I am declaring this the official the official beginning of the march to 100 episodes.
Whoa, 24 away.
Yeah, roughly 20-something. So we got about 6 months.
June?
Sometime in June, we'll be hitting the 100 mark.
So we will be looking at a 2-year anniversary.
Celebration we're going to have.
We're going to be looking at our 2-year anniversary. 100 episodes, a lot going on this year.
Can't wait. Thank you for sticking around and listening to us. Hopefully we'll
see you next week.
Yeah, next week.
Peace.
At FanDuel Casino, we know the only thing better than a win is a free win. That's why we made Reward Machine, the daily free-to-play game that gives you a chance to win up to $2,000 in casino bonus. We've given away over $100 million in free bonuses, and we're just getting started. Every day at 6 p.m., you get 3 chances to spin the Reward Machine reels. There are 3 ways to win. 1. Match any 3 symbols for an instant win. 2. Collect symbols each day for a chance to win weekly prizes. Or 3. Win up to $2,000 if you collect 3 trophies. FanDuel has given away over $100 million to hundreds of thousands of people through Reward Machine. So what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Casino app by going to FanDuel.com/marker and start playing Reward Machine today. That's FanDuel.com/marker. No purchase necessary. 21 and older and present in Michigan. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable casino-only site credit that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG.
Searching for your next car? Don't settle. Thrive. At CarMax, it's easy to shop online or in person. With upfront pricing and tools designed to help, finding a car you love has never been easier. Plus, you can sell or trade in your current vehicle with an online offer in minutes. No strings attached. Start shopping now to find a car you'll love at CarMax.com. CarMax, the way it should be.